Hey, thank you for tuning into the JP Lopez show. Guys, I really appreciate the love and support that you really show for this podcast. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and it really warms my heart to receive all the messages that I received throughout the week saying, "Hey, good episode." It just, yeah, I can't even put it into words. Thank you guys. If you guys could do me a favor and please like, share, subscribe, comment, it would help me out tremendously, and I would greatly appreciate it. We've got Selena Martinez for today, and she's a lady comedian that's been here in the game for 7 years, and it shows. She's pretty fucking good. And ladies and gentlemen, Selena Martinez.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning back into It's the JP Lopez show. We've got a comedian here that's going to open up the set, and she's a she. It's the first time for the show, so I'm pretty excited. Ladies and gentlemen, Selena Martinez.
Thank you so much, JP. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Selena, but my favorite dildo's name is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, because nothing turns me on like a woman's right to choose. And I know that sometimes men get uncomfortable when women talk about their issues, their bodies, different things like that. But I want men to know sincerely from the bottom of my heart, I don't care. Because if I had $1 for every time I heard a dick joke, there would be no wage gap, okay? I do know some dick jokes. My favorite dick joke. I do want fellas to know that if you're ever sending a picture of your penis to a woman, you need to be very careful. Because that woman is going to send that picture to 5 of her closest friends. I promise you that. I have received several dick pictures, even though I'm a lesbian. I've received a bunch. It's because I'm keeping the records. I have the spreadsheet. It's color-coded. I'm collecting the data, and I'm sending it to Elon Musk. It's very important. I received a dick picture a few months ago from one of my friends, and the guy had chosen to send a picture of his dick, comparing it to the size of a Roku remote, and it was the same size. So... if you're going to use a remote control, use like the DirecTV remote from 2007, you know, the big fat one. Like I said, I am gay. I know you guys probably can't tell. You guys can't see my feet in the video, partially because of my pants, but my feet do go like this. You know what else goes like this? Scissors. Probably my dumbest joke I've ever written. But me and my wife have been together for a long time. We've been together for about 12 years, and we're always trying to spice up our sex life, trying to do something different. And I suggested to her recently that we should try to have a threesome, but she doesn't want to do it because she thinks of sex as an expression of love, which is the gayest shit I've ever heard, honestly. Pretty gay. But I do love my wife. My love for my wife is a lot like my period, you know, because it's heavy and it's embarrassing to talk about in public. And it makes men very uncomfortable. My love for my wife is a lot like my tampon because it's buried deep inside of me. Sometimes I think there's 2 in there. I'm just kidding. That would be weird. Why would there be 2? We have dogs. We're big dog lovers. I know a lot of people will say that like lesbians are all cat-loving, man-hating feminists, but it's not true. Most of us are dog lovers. And I like when door-to-door salespeople come to my house and they want to speak to the man of the house. So I could be like, okay, but he might bite you. Cooper, go get him. It's a good little dog. Recently, though, he's been on these fish pills, and it's for like his joints. It's for his health. But the bad part about that is he sleeps with us, and his face smells like fish. And if anybody's face is going to smell like fish in my bed, it better be mine. Okay? Was that like 5? Was good? Okay.
Oh, man, that was pretty funny. She's going to stay for the panel. We're going to have a pretty good episode. So now, let's start the show.
This episode is brought to you by Tigre Burrito. If you haven't tried them out, then you're missing out. Their hours of operations are from Tuesday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. They specialize in breakfast burritos and lunch specials. If you like that pica pica, try that hot sauce and let them know that it's the JP Lopez show sent you. They can be located at 720 Highway 62 in Wolford, Texas. It's the small yellow building with the Tigre tiger on it. Rawr.
What is up, guys?
What's up?
Selena, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I wanted to introduce myself to you at the comedy show, at Rafa's comedy show, because I didn't want to be awkward and then just randomly Facebook message you and be like, hey, come on the show.
Oh, that's okay. I think Izzet already connected us on Messenger.
Yeah. So today they wanted me to jump on Taco Sandwich
and I told them I was recording with you, and they were pretty proud of me having you on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he had asked me to maybe step in for Rafa in case Rafa wasn't feeling better, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And he's like, wait, aren't you doing JP's show? And I was like, oh, yeah, I can't do it.
My bad.
She's already gonna leave.
No, it was in my, I had put it for like 2 weeks from now for some reason, but.
Yeah. Totally okay if you could have said, fuck yeah, I'm doing Rafa's podcast.
Just do both.
Yeah, we'll do both. So I don't want to be offensive in this, but it's in your
I'm already offended.
comedy, right? The lesbian lifestyle is always like they are always talking about y'all are ready to get married on date 2. Is that true or not?
That's pretty true, yeah.
Like at the U-Haul.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would think me and my wife were together for maybe like 3 months, and I kind of like casually, not really proposed. But we didn't get married until after gay marriage became legal federally. So we got married. Gay marriage became legal federally, I think, in 2015 or 2016, and then we got married in 2018.
Oh, wow. So y'all
But-
put some years.
Yeah, we had already been together for like, I don't know, 6 years by the time we got married. 7 years, maybe.
That's crazy. I have zero knowledge of shit like that.
Yeah. Well, we got married in New Mexico, and a lot of times people will ask us if we got married in New Mexico because it's technically not legal in Texas. But it is, for now anyways, according to the Supreme Court ruling, Obergefell, it's legal all across the country. But it's
Okay.
not, if that ruling falls, then my marriage will no longer be legally accepted in Texas.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the uproar was with Trump being president? Or
Yeah,
no?
there's some concerns. Well, it's mostly that when they overturned Roe v. Wade, there was some concerns that I think in the opinion that was quoted from one of the judges that they might also have grounds to overturn Obergefell, and that would be bad for me.
What worst case scenario that happens, right? What happens? You just go back to 2016? Like that type of living? Or
Basically, I mean, nothing about my day-to-day life would change necessarily. It's just that currently the only way I'm able to have my wife covered on my health insurance is because we're
shit.
married.
I didn't even think of that.
So if that gets taken away, then she can no longer be on my health insurance. I don't think we can share. I'm not sure if we can. I don't think we can share an insurance policy, like car insurance policy. If something were to happen to her in the hospital, unless I have paperwork that states that I am the medical power of attorney, I wouldn't be able to make medical decisions for my wife, and she wouldn't be able to make medical decisions for me. So
Wow.
there's a lot of things, like people don't think that, they think, well, marriage is just a piece of paper, but the government recognizes that piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And hospitals recognize it, lawyers recognize it. It's a lot more than just a piece of paper.
It sucks being the breadwinner in the relationship, right?
It's not. I mean, I'm not the breadwinner. I just. My wife is a bartender and a cook, so my wife actually makes more money than I do. It's just that my job provides insurance.
Oh, yeah. Bartenders and cooks, half that salary goes to their fucking insurance if they wanted
Yeah.
insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so expensive, and that's bullshit.
Yeah, but I have right now I have a pretty good job. I really don't make very much money, but my health insurance policy is pretty cheap. So.
Yeah, that's kind of Texas, right? I mean, I know I say that too. Like, my job sucks, but my insurance is badass.
Yeah. Sometimes I go to the ER just to flex on people.
Yeah. Free copay.
I was like, damn, my job sucks and my insurance sucks. Nothing to look forward to anymore. Fuck.
Yeah.
So, this episode was going to come out right around the time where school's going to be released. So I figured fucking take it back to how shit used to be when we got out of high school. And Erika, I'll ask you, man, do you have a good end of the school year story or a memory? And it doesn't have to be high school. It could have been elementary, but
I was
Yeah,
about to
just
say,
like-
I didn't go to high school.
yeah,
Just running around like a hooligan
yeah.
in the streets, throwing water balloons at everybody.
Dude, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
There's not really one that stands out. I think all of high school and some of middle school was just a really good time. The last day of school, like There were no rules. There was nothing to worry about. Everybody hopped in the car and you just went wherever, did whatever.
I remember elementary from like, I don't know, maybe 2nd through 6th grade, where my lazy ass was just stuffing my desk with all kinds of shit, like unturned, like homework that I never turned in, all kinds of shit. So at the end of the year, they're like, well, you got to take out all your shit from the desk. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to throw it away. And there I am packing my whole backpack. It's like 50 pounds walking home. You're like, motherfucker. Yeah. But I was going to bring up junior year, we had a huge water balloon fight. Fucking slingshots, everything. And it was a great time, whatever. But it's over. It's fucking over. And we're all out of water balloons. And I'm driving home. Well, as I'm driving home, a couple of my buddies are in a truck passing me. And then they bombed the shit out of my truck with water balloons. Well, when they do that, dude, they shatter my fucking windshield.
Oh, dang.
And that's when I was like, all right, it's fight time. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. It was horrible. I think I go home, and it's the end of the school year. You got parties and all kinds of shit. And my dad's like, what the fuck happened? And he's all pissed. And then he's like, you're grounded. And I started laughing. I was all, grounded? What the fuck? Like, I haven't been grounded in 10 years. It's like, I'll get a new windshield tomorrow, dude.
You didn't do
like,
it.
Yeah, but man, tell a Mexican dad that shit.
Yeah. If your friends did it, it's still your fault.
Yeah, for sure.
But but this is like pre cell phone summer.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. That was
We weren't doing TikTok dances back then. We were.
that was right before, I think, because my senior year I got the brick, that Nokia, that big long ass fucking brick, and I believe it
No
was
text messaging.
no text messaging, and it was $60 a month for 20 minutes. 20 fucking minutes
Free
was
after. Free after.
No, this was even before the free.
Before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm that old. It was something, because it was something that I could afford, but the minutes were ridiculous. And I want to say it was like 20 or 30 minutes for the month, and it was $60 for that month that I had to pay for that cell phone. And yeah, it was before text messaging, because text messaging didn't come out till what, like 02, 03?
So that's when you call your mom. You're like, Mom, you gotta come pick me up. Bye. Just don't even.
I didn't
no
even
conversation.
use my cell phone. You use the pay phone, you call collect. And they got to collect
Yeah.
call. I'm at the
Sit real
movies, Mom,
quick.
pick me up, bye.
Yeah.
You got it in the school year memory?
Me?
Yeah.
Man, just the water balloon thing, man. I kept thinking, but I quit school so early.
Dude, we
You
fucking...
know what I mean? I quit early. But I remember doing the water balloon thing in the car, and then we would ride around.
Yeah.
And then with the water...
The big water guns.
The water guns. And then I remember...
Filled with piss.
Filled with piss
Whoa,
and
whoa,
bleach.
whoa.
Piss and bleach.
That's insane. Biological warfare.
Yeah. And...
That's such a boy thing.
Yeah. Never. In
Only a
million
man would be
years.
like, I'm gonna fill this water gun with piss. That's so gross.
convenient. Very convenient while you're driving. I understand the women can't...
I guess you don't have like a
easily.
water hose.
Recycle. Dude, I can tell you, end of school year, there was probably zero water balloons at the store.
Oh, yeah.
Because we bought them all.
But when we would do it, that's when the Super Soakers came out, right? So we would just ride around. And then I remember I was driving, so I didn't get to do it, but people would take turns putting their ass out the window, just driving by people, and I'm just like, this is the greatest. This is the fucking greatest.
Again, can't relate.
And they're like,
No.
somebody needs to piss and fill up this water.
But you would put your ass out the window and he would stop. So you're supposed to drive by moon somewhere. This motherfucker would stop you like, you fucking asshole.
Oh, man.
And then showed my shitty ass to everybody.
Oh, man.
Probably the only time your hole had that much air going through it.
Oh, yeah.
Nice and fresh. Felt good. I didn't get to do it, though. I had to drive, unfortunately.
Have y'all ever fucked with a bidet?
I've never like had sex with a bidet, but I've used a bidet.
That's what. Yeah. So. Okay, so I've never used one, but
I don't-
to me, the water pressure would have to be a bad motherfucker for me to get that. You know.
Yeah, you can get it like pressure washing level. You can
Okay.
get it. Yeah, you can get it to be pretty strong because you can set the different.
See, I
levels.
bought one that you connect to your toilet. I just haven't done it. But when I was overseas in Iraq, it was just like porcelain holes in the ground, and they had like a little water hose, right? So I was like, how people are drinking out of it? I was like, I don't think you drink out of that little piece, right? And so we're like, what do you do? Like, I think you wash your ass with it, right? So it doesn't. It's like old school Mexican style with your thumb, bro.
Everybody's confused.
And I was like, how does this fucking work? Like, how do you know you got everything you need to get?
That's what I was gonna
You know what
bring
I'm
up.
saying?
That
Like,
was me.
Is there a mirror that comes with
How?
that? You know what I mean? Just like, yeah, I got it.
How? Okay, but when you poop, you're not getting poop all over your cheeks. It's just coming out of the whole region. The only reason
I'm
it
about to say,
spreads is when you wipe.
Say you.
I'm not getting poop everywhere when I poop. It's just around the hole, and then you rinse the hole, and
What
you're
he's
good.
saying is you don't know how he shits.
We're talking about 12
That's-
burritos.
well, that's-
We're talking about 12 bean burritos in.
That's a health issue.
it's everywhere.
You got to talk
It's
to your doctor
everywhere.
about that.
I'm just saying.
Well, that was what I was.
But I
gonna
mean, I
ask.
guess you just wiggle your butt around on the thing.
But then water gets everywhere? No?
You need to
Do
fix
you
your
still-
gastrointestinal issues.
do
You
you
need to take a
still-
probiotic,
I'm just, like I said, I bought
Eat
one.
some
'cause-
yogurt.
I bought one because I feel like it'd be cleaner, right?
have some
'Cause we have
fiber.
baby wipes.
I think you need some fiber.
I
Some
think I have
Metamucil.
Too much fiber. That's the issue.
Solidify that.
Too much
That
fiber.
dookie.
That's my question is, okay, so it's got to be a high pressure to get that shit. But also, how do you know you're clean? But then again, it's
You
new.
can wipe.
It's fucking
You just
new.
wipe.
So I guess as you
You still-
continue to
You would
use
have to
it,
dry yourself off.
Yeah, you still have to wipe,
So-
so you dry, and then if you see poop, you just,
I guess.
give it another go.
Go
Yeah,
go again.
rinse it off.
Where's the mirror?
Fucking.
Hey, we're gonna know when you set yours up.
Dude, 'cause they'd be
You
like,
ain't never
someone's
gonna come
someone's
out.
still in the bathroom. Fucking loves it. It's in there for hours. Full pressure. I'm hooking up the power washer to it and like fucking needs more power.
It was a Paul Rodriguez stand up. This was years ago. I was a kid, and he said he took his deal to England or somewhere overseas, and that he had told him, "Why is there two toilets?" And he was like, "Well, one is the one for use, and then the other one is a bidet." And he was like, "Pues yo creo que me cagué en el bidet." But yeah, there used to be two toilets for that shit, right? Because you always saw it in the movies.
Yeah, they had
that,
two toilets.
that one toilet that had a sink in it.
It
You're
looks
like, what
smaller,
the
right?
fuck?
Yeah.
It always looks smaller. Like I said, I know over there they had the little water hose that came out from the side.
Yeah.
And we're just like filling up canteens with it and shit. We're like fucking clean.
With shit water.
Shit water, but we're not thinking. It's like, but you'd have to put your thumb.
But that
to get
water
some
was
pressure.
clean.
I don't know.
I
don't-
mean, the hose was probably very questionable.
Yes, the
Yeah.
hose, yes. But usually, because you drive around town and the sprinkler systems for the yard is not clean
it's not
water.
non-potable water,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, so I was thinking same type of shit
Yeah.
there. This episode is brought to you by KJ Aesthetics. Let KJ Aesthetics transform your eyes with their beautiful lash sets. Whether you're going for the natural flutter or the bold drama look, KJ Aesthetics is the perfect lashes to elevate your beauty. Get the gorgeous lashes that you've always wanted and mention this ad for 15% off. Head over to Instagram at KJ Aesthetics or text her at 806-893-7171 and tell her it's the JP Lopez show sent you.
Man, we weren't really thinking. I mean, we ain't took a shower in 3 months.
So it didn't matter.
man,
Water
we're
was
fucking-
water.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fuck.
No time for boiling.
Yeah, I know you're joking, but it was a long time in between showers over there.
No, I'm not joking. 3 months. The first time when we got there, because we went with the initial when we crossed over, right? So we're there. We didn't
Man,
get a
that Fremunda cheese was...
bro. You don't really know how bad you stink until you take a shower after 3 months, and you're like, God damn, everybody fucking stinks. Because you would get the salt stains
You get
from
used
your
to it.
body. Yeah, everybody stinks at the same time. And then we got in. It was like a canal thing with water, and it had like goat shit floating through it from farming and stuff.
And
we
that's
didn't
the
give
water y'all are filling the canteen.
No, we're bathing with it, right?
And the bidet hose.
We're bathing with it, and then we get out of it, and then we had to put the same clothes back on, right?
No way.
Not the boxers or
You
your.
just got in there with your clothes.
Your brown. We washed our stuff so it was dry, but
Yeah.
we put on the new fresh clothes, right? So we put on the old stuff because it's still sitting there with your clothes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it stinks, but you're like, God damn, like it fucking stunk, like holy shit. But yeah, it was, the longest was 3 months, and then it would be a couple days, and then you find water and bathe it. But the first one was 3 months, man.
I don't know if I can do that.
Well, I mean, you're doing
'Cause I
baby
sweat.
wipes. You know, I mean, you're doing baby wipes and
I'm your
powder and stuff
typical
like
fat
that.
dude that sweats ridiculously. I couldn't imagine 3 months of my sweat just. Oof.
I guess if everybody smells the same.
I get that, but still, fuck.
Then MREs, and then you get about this much toilet paper. You need a bit.
You weren't joking about that when you said they give you one
bro.
sheet of toilet
Dude,
paper?
You ever had an MRE? Have you ever opened an MRE?
No.
MRE? Well, they give you one little thing of toilet paper. It's about this big.
In
and
the
it opens
MRE?
up. Yeah, in the MRE. Right. So the way they tell
So like
you,
after you've violently shit out this horrible food.
yeah. Well, it's not going to be violent because you're probably constipated. So you're going to push it through. So it's not too much wiping, I guess. They're smart. They think about it. So
They're like,
but
you're gonna have a solid shit,
Yeah,
like a
you're gonna be
rock,
solid, like a rock.
dry.
you're going to like it. It's going to hurt, but
It's
you're
gonna
going to
come
enjoy
out crusty,
it. You're going to enjoy it.
dehydrated.
But the whole thing about it is you're supposed to, it's in a square, so you're supposed to tear the corner out and put it to the side. And then you're supposed to put your fingers through the toilet paper and then wipe your ass and you pull, then you get the toilet
So
paper.
like a
You-
toilet paper condom for your
Yeah,
fingers.
and then you wipe all the shit off and then use the corner piece to get it out of your nail.
You know, when I agreed to come today, I had no idea.
You're learning.
So
I
here,
learned so
here at the
much.
JP Lopez show, it never fails. We always take each and every episode to shit.
Don't go into the military if you like to not have shit under your fingernails.
So, Selena, you got a memory from Ender School?
So I don't really remember a lot of my childhood. And I was telling one of my coworkers that one time, I was like, I don't really remember a lot about like being a kid. And she's like, well, maybe it's because your life was really boring. And I think the real answer is that probably I have trauma.
Yeah.
But whatever happened when I was a kid is none of my business. I don't care. But the one thing that I do remember is when I graduated high school, me and my two closest friends went to Disney World in Florida by ourselves.
Oh, wow.
So that was fun.
For real?
We went for like 3 or 4 days. And then we had to, I had like just turned 18, so we were out there smoking cigars outside the park at Disney because you can't smoke inside the park.
Where did y'all drive from? From Lubbock?
We flew, I think, from Dallas to Orlando.
Okay, so y'all flew. Okay. Because you said that, and I immediately thought about
Road trip.
you holding a map. You're like, okay.
No, but we did, while we were in Orlando, we wanted to go to the beach, so we did. We tried to take, we took the bus over there, but we couldn't take the bus back because by the time we were done at the beach, it was already too late. And I did have a horrible, we went to McDonald's and I had about 3 yogurt parfaits and I did have violent diarrhea all over the bathroom. So
Back to the
Risky,
shit.
risky behavior.
that happened. And it was like, we were at the beach all day, so I was all salty and sticky and in my bathing suit. And then we had to we ended up calling a cab to take us back to our hotel and it was like $400.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah.
But we went back to the bus stop and we had encountered this homeless man. And he was like, we were trying to figure out if the bus was going to come back. He's like, I got good news and I got bad news, but I could really use a beer. So we're just like 3 17-year-old, 18-year-old girls. And we're just like, well, we have to give him $10 so he can tell. And then he's like, actually, the bus isn't running anymore, but you could call a cab.
You motherfucker. Thanks for the beer.
Right.
Fuck you.
Right.
So we have a certain someone on the panel that's been to Disney World like 80 times this year.
Really?
80 times is a lot.
Seems like
Why do
every
y'all
weekend.
automatically
Every
look at
fucking
me like-
weekend.
Is that you?
Why not? No.
Seems like
I do not
every
look like a
weekend.
Disney person at all.
I see a Disney World story. I'm like, God dang, not even Disneyland.
Hey, I didn't get to do any of that when I was young, and so I'm living my best adult Disney life.
Yeah, and it shows.
Yeah.
The Disney era.
Well, it's more fun when you're. I'm not more fun when you're an adult, but I feel like you get to do so much more stuff. Because I don't know about you guys, but like when I went to amusement parks as a kid,
Couldn't buy nothing.
I couldn't buy anything. It would be like a family of 6 sharing one turkey leg. We're not but as an adult, I go to an amusement park, I get the whole turkey leg to myself.
I got adult money.
Yeah.
It's like Felipe said when they passed the churro, don't bite it, cabrón. Lick it.
Yeah.
Lick it and pass it.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact,
Pretty much.
I'm going to Disneyland also this year.
Bring me back some Dole Whip.
It's not that great.
I love it.
Is it really not?
I fucking
It's all
love
right.
it.
I had it in Hawaii, so
I had it at Disneyland when we went, and that's
What
all
is
I
it?
think about. It's just fucking ice. The Dole pineapple. It's just made soft serve
but
out
they
of.
have it here.
It's not the same.
Fair.
Then you got to be walking around the park and seeing the characters and stuff.
Yeah.
I hated every bit of that fucking day at Disneyland.
Was it hot?
It
Because
was horrible.
I've gone when the weather's really nice, and so enjoyable.
And we had all these fast passes and shit, still waiting 2 fucking hours on a fast pass. Like, this is a fucking joke. Like,
It's just bad when it's hot. I mean, yeah, when the weather is nice, it's not bad at all. I think I went. It was the end of January. I went to California Adventure. It was nice.
Yeah, that's when I'm going, or that's whenever we ended up going was.
I wanted
end
to
of
go to
January.
California
Yeah.
Adventure, but you needed a separate ticket to get in there.
Oh, I'm going there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to get separate tickets for each part.
I wanted to ride that Cars ride.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah. And then they sold alcohol in California Adventure, so I'm all for that.
Well, Epcot, Disney World, alcohol, drink
Yeah,
around
the
world.
wife is like, so we're going on vacation at Disney World. I was like, there's never a sentence where it's we and vacation and Disney World for me. Like, you
I
can
tried
go
to
by
take
yourself.
her. She didn't want to go.
You can go by your fucking self. Take
But
it
the
and keep
rides
that.
are fun.
Yeah. So is not spending thousands of dollars for it.
Okay, flight is like $100 over there.
You're so full of shit.
Round trip, 150.
Where?
But
But you got to go to Dallas.
Yeah, I go to Dallas.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
You'll
I drive to
never.
Dallas.
It's
I
not
go
that far to
bro.
Dallas.
It's not that far to
You'll
Dallas.
never
not.
catch me coming home from a vacation to drive 5 hours back to
I
Lubbock.
do it all the
Fuck
time.
no. I don't care how much money I save.
Yeah, but
when I come home,
How many
that's
people
it.
go with you?
It's just usually me and one of my best friends, and
That's 2 people. That's not too
and
bad,
she
though.
lives in Dallas, so we go
Yeah,
and
you
have
stay at her
dinner,
house. Yeah.
hang out, then we catch the flight. Then
And
we,
it's just you and your girl, right? Mm-hmm. See, I got to pay for 4 people to go. So we're flying out of
oh,
Dallas.
I have kids.
You know what I mean? To save. But that's what's
And we're leaving the house at 3 in the morning.
yeah, so we're.
And I'm like, y'all are staying? Yeah, I done took y'all to Disney World. Then I go. Then I take y'all.
And y'all were boring and
Then I
acted
go.
like y'all didn't like it.
Y'all want to be crying? Y'all stay home.
This episode is brought to you by RL Creations. Are you looking to turn your ideas into wearable art? Or maybe make a t-shirt into a one-of-a-kind, just like your personality? RL Creations is waiting to turn a blank canvas into your custom creations. Hit her up on Facebook at RL Creations or text her at 806-283-3056.
Well, that's the thing too. People take like their fresh 1-year-old to Disney World. That baby's not gonna remember anything. You can't be like, "I took you to Disney." They're not gonna remember. They
I'll
don't
just
know.
tell
You
them
can
and not take them.
You can look this way and tell him that.
Well, you gotta do it when the kid starts forming memories at like 5, 10.
Well, I didn't know. I took him. He slept the whole damn time,
Yeah.
and he doesn't remember any of it. But he wants
Well,
to go
he's
back
not
though.
going to.
But we had butterbeer.
That's the wrong place. That's the wrong place.
Was it
No, I know, but
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it.
we went to Universal because I couldn't get into. I couldn't get in. I just couldn't get a ticket
Yeah.
when at the time I wanted to go. So we just went to Universal. But he slept the whole damn time.
And then I heard Orlando's like the devil's asshole. Like it's just hot as
Ooh.
fuck all the time.
And
And no
then-
wind, no like.
And then
Yeah,
we took,
during the summer, yeah.
Every time I've gone, it's been amazing, like weather-wise. Also, so I went the first time this year. or
But you
last
also
year.
wear a sweater in like 85-degree weather.
True. I went the first time last year, and it was with my parents and my kids, and it was all of our first time. And so Disney's just special to me now. Like,
that's cool.
it's just a happy place.
And here I am shitting all over
But it's
it.
still-
Sorry.
You can.
Are they still
I
like?
still love it.
Are they still killing and molesting kids there?
Fucking Rafa.
I'm just
Is that what he said?
That's just what I heard. That's all I know.
Well, Rafa said he worked security for Disney World for many years, and he said like it was the number one at the time. Certain period of time, it was
Trafficking?
like the number one
Child
place
abduction, right?
to kill yourself, to
Oh,
commit
yeah,
suicide at.
Yeah, he did say
Really?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, he said like it was always in. Whoever killed himself was like, I'm gonna go spend my last dime at Disney World and then kill myself.
Oh,
Yeah,
sad.
that
I'm
was
like,
a
that
pretty
makes
dark
sense to me.
episode.
I feel like I'd go somewhere else.
Well, I mean, it's better. I don't know. To me, it makes more sense to do something like that, to go and like have fun, have the greatest day of your life, versus just like
Like end on
Going
a
to a-
high. you
yeah,
mean?
end on a high.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of just like going to a bar, drinking all night, and then doing it, which is how I think a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, I'm thinking more like, if I'm going to spend all of my money, I would go far, like abroad, somewhere.
Disney
But,
World,
I mean-
Japan.
Yeah.
But you're thinking like rich people type.
No.
No, what I'm saying is like I'm sure these people had enough for a ticket to get into Disney. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying?
But even if you went far, how much? And you spent all your money. How would you get back though your body? Because it would cost tons of money
Like-
to get you.
Oh, you don't
back.
care after that.
You don't care.
You're
It's
dead.
Not your problem.
You better
No.
tell your family.
Feel
Act
bad
like
for
y'all
your
don't know me.
kids. They're saying like, damn, your mom,
Well,
dad.
that's no longer my problem. So,
That's how people think when they're.
I mean,
I
you
guess,
know,
I guess, I
you
get
know,
it.
they
I
don't
get
really.
It, I get it.
It's not that they don't care. It's just that they.
They don't care.
No, they just can't. They can't do
like,
it
what
anymore.
can you do? Like what? Like how are you? If you can't plan for that, but you can enjoy that time, like
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that will like go to the beach with their family all day, and then be like, oh, I have to go put gas in the car, and they just go and
not come back.
never come back.
How did we?
It is Mental Health Awareness Month.
How did we get here?
And
It is mental health.
there are actually a lot of resources that you can reach out to in Lubbock for mental health. I know that's kind of what people have been talking about. That there's no resources, but there really are some. There are some religious organizations that have counseling, which is maybe not appropriate for everybody. But tech students have there are programs at Tech that you can get counseling on a grant basis. So like if you don't have income, you can go there, and you might see somebody who's not technically a licensed counselor yet, but somebody who's getting their hours. So it's somebody that's already graduated and has their master's degree, but doesn't have a license because you have to have so many hours counseling practice before they give you a license.
What's the number?
3,000.
I thought it was like 311 or something like that. So it's 300?
988,
988. That's what it was.
Is it?
Yeah.
or you can text.
Yeah.
There's a 7-4. I don't know all the numbers, but
I know my buddy's wife is one of the hotline
The people.
people, and
I was super interested. I
and
should have asked her.
She's busy all the time.
I can believe it.
I was super interested because she was doing her thing. So I was like, maybe I should get in on that. Like, I would love to be overnight crisis help.
Yeah.
You think it'd weigh on you though, like listening to all the issues and
It does. I'm a counselor. So it's, you have to have your own counseling.
for it?
Yeah, for sure. It's,
You
especially,
can't leave work at work.
no. I mean,
You have to
Yeah, that's what I said. It'd be hard.
compartmentalize a little bit.
So
yeah.
it'd be hard though, because you would hear all that and you take it in. I mean,
Well, and
emotionally.
I think that's why counselors have really dark humor. Like, that's how we cope with it.
Yeah.
If you tell a story to somebody, like a situation, and they're like
Like, yeah.
horrified, and you're like, oh, like I shouldn't have- my
Yeah.
bad.
That's
I
my
showed my skin. Sorry.
my previous counselor actually helped me write a lot of jokes about things that I was like struggling with that I perform on stage, just because like I would, I'd be sitting there not crying because I don't really cry. I can't, but I would be sitting there telling her about like something bad that happened to me, and then I would see my counselor get emotional, and that makes me uncomfortable. So I would make a joke, and then when it would work, I would do that joke on stage.
Wow.
And she'd be like, Selena, you're deflecting again. I'd be like, yeah, but
It works.
Yeah,
I'm having
right.
fun. But now I feel better about the situation, knowing that I can. That's how I know that I'm over a situation and that I have learned how to cope with it and kind of get past it, is when I can make a joke about it.
Yeah.
So how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 33.
So can I ask you about your life a little bit, or no?
Sure.
So I went to the comedy show, and you mentioned in your stand-up that you grew up Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
When you were a kid, like, were you closeted, or like were you?
Yeah, I was closeted until don't tell my mom. I was closeted until like maybe like a year and a half after I met my wife.
And then that being said, growing up Catholic, because that was old school Catholic, that was a big no-no, right?
Yeah.
Did that just throw more fuel into like your anger, or maybe I shouldn't say anger, but
I mean, it wasn't necessarily. I didn't hold resentment specifically against the Catholic Church. I held resentment
no,
against
I'm not
religion.
saying that, but it's just they always old school Catholic was like, it's white or black. It's never a gray area. You're either this or that, and it made you fear
Yeah, I was afraid to come out.
Yeah.
But I really only ever technically came out to my mom, and then I just started bringing my she was my girlfriend at the time, but I just started bringing her around, and I didn't explain it to anybody because I didn't feel like I needed to, because my other cousins didn't in their relationship, so why should I have to explain it?
Yeah.
But I was scared when I first told my mom. I went to school in San Angelo, and she would come to see me like every other week because she was the manager of Univision at the time.
Oh wow.
And they had an office in San Angelo, so she would come every couple weeks to check in with the office there, and she would come see me, and we'd go out to eat. And she came to see me one week, and I decided that was like the night I was going to tell her. And when I told her, it was like after we ate, we were in the parking lot, and I told her, and she turned around and just like started crying and left.
Oh, she didn't have no suspicion.
No, I don't
Wow.
think. I mean, maybe in hindsight she might now, but I don't know that she ever thought. I mean, but there's a lot of people in my life that never thought that I was gay. There's maybe like 2 people that are like related to me that, or at least that I've like known for most of my life, that were like, yeah, I kind of knew.
Mm-hmm.
But most people, at least that's what they tell me, is that they didn't know.
So you didn't have like combat boots on, or?
No, no, I think I used to.
We knew she
You know,
was
like
gay.
Well, I was
You
I
know,
was like
typical
borderline
emo
emo in high school, and everybody was
Oh,
emo
yeah,
at that
everybody
time,
was.
so it was like you know kind of blend in. But I was never like, I mean, I had a boyfriend for a little bit, but I was never like boy crazy. And I used to tell one of my friends, I was like, oh, I don't like boys, and it's not because I like girls, it's just because I don't like boys. But it's obviously that was a lie. Obviously, I was lying.
Because boys got cooties. Yeah. So,
Well, no, it's not that I never like had a crush on boys. I was always very like shy and private as a child. I'm still pretty shy and private now, when it comes to certain things. But I just I know I didn't like boys the way that I was supposed to, because when I kissed them, I didn't really feel anything, like mentally, emotionally. And I didn't understand how I felt about women until like I got older, basically.
that makes sense. I know that there were cousins in my family that we knew. Like, there was
Yeah.
no coming out. Like, we just fucking knew since they were
Yeah.
kids.
Oh, my younger stepbrother, I always knew he was gay, but I don't know that he ever knew that I was.
You think it's easier to see if the guy, like, more signs for a guy?
I think
gay
it
than the
depends
girls?
on what. Because I think even now, if I don't necessarily talk about it, or if I'm not necessarily dressed a certain way, sometimes people don't know that I'm gay.
Yeah, like if I looked at you, I
But that's
wouldn't
because I'm
think
kind
at
of,
all.
I would call it straight passing.
But see, that sounds weird saying that though. Like, you don't look gay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't look gay. That sounds. When I say that, it sounds
Yeah,
like I'm being disrespectful. Like I'm being offensive, and I don't mean it like that. I'm just.
Well, it's not like you're
Like-
saying you don't look like a queer. You're not saying it like that.
But you get what I'm saying though? It just,
Yeah, no, I know.
'Cause that's,
But there are
like-
some people that look gay.
Like my
that
cousin,
act.
I knew she was gay because she had a better faith than me growing up. I was like, damn.
Yeah, who's your
Yeah.
barber?
Who cuts your shit?
But
You
there's
know?
been times where I've been wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's been times where, you know, it's a real feminine guy, and I'm like, oh, he's obviously gay, and then
No.
He walks
he's a
in with the
pussy
hottest girl you
killing,
ever
yeah, he's a
seen.
pussy killing dude,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh shit, like, yeah. So I get what you're saying.
and then I
totally
just say
get
that I hate that.
it. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that dude.
So, I'll tell you my story. I know school's over, summer's happening. I hated it. It was the worst because that was free labor for my dad. I'm not shitting you, man. I joked that my dad was hard on me, but the motherfucker was hard on me. My mom used to run into my bedroom at 7 a.m. and say, "Hey, your dad's outside," and like wake me up, and I would get up and act like I'm cleaning my room or doing some shit, because if my dad came in on
you're laying down.
summer fucking break at 7 a.m. and I'm still asleep, that was my ass, man. And he would be like, you see them big ass stack of, we had shit in the backyard that he kept for just in case all the time. He's like, you see them big old stacks of bricks? I want that moved to that corner. And he was like, I want it done at 7 a.m. I'm like, fuck, dude. You know what I mean? That type of shit. That cuartito, I couldn't tell you how many times I fucking cleaned it every day of the summer. But once my chores were done, it was party time. So I would
But
go.
I mean, I do think sometimes parents do that, especially in like low income neighborhoods. They do that to keep you out of trouble, to keep you from wandering about.
I really believe being a young adult, seeing what he did, and me being a dad, and seeing what I was doing, it was just teaching me a strong work ethic. I really think so.
That too, but I mean, if you look at like kids now, there's such a problem with like violence amongst teenagers, especially during the summer, because there's just nothing for them to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think they necessarily need to work, but they need to have something to occupy their time. Otherwise, they're going to get in trouble.
Well, that's the thing that I was about to say is once my chores were done, it was party time. It was fucking go time. So it was walking to the Rogers, the community center, and playing pool with my friends until the swimming pool opened, and then going to the pool, and then having to be home by 5 because my mom goes to work at 5, and we just have to be home by 5, and that was my day. But I lived for the shit. I fucking hated my chores every morning, but then you go play pool with your friends and go swimming with your friends, wondering where the fuck that dollar was gonna come from. Like,
Dude, we would look everywhere.
Dude,
Ashtrays.
everywhere. Every fucking day was a
pockets,
scavenger hunt for I felt like a crackhead trying to look for that fucking dollar and then find that dollar, and I was like, all right, I'm going swimming tomorrow. That type of shit.
And I used to love my cousin. He would come pick me up so we could walk, because we lived on 8th Street, Tech Ghetto, and then we'd walk all the way to...
For real?
Yeah, man. Well, you knew I lived on 8th Street.
Yeah, I know,
so
but I didn't know y'all walked. I thought
Yeah.
like y'all caught rides or
no,
some
we
shit.
would walk, because he lived in the UA, University Arms, right, on 5th. So he'd walk, pick me up. And sometimes I would hate that he would come, because I'd have to find a dollar for him. I'm like, God damn, I got to find this motherfucker $1 too. But I didn't want to walk by myself, so I was like, fuck it. We get $1 or I'll go steal it from my dad's ashtray, get some change. So we'd come, and then Jimenez Bakery used to be right there.
Yeah.
And we would stop there, and we would, when we were small or younger, because I had been there forever, we would go by and we would look at the Fondusa in the window, and he came out and asked us one time if we wanted something. Like, we don't got no money. And then he was like, well, if you clean the windows, I'll give you all some money and then some Fondusa. So, I mean, we were little kids, man, half-assed cleaning the windows and stuff, but he, being really nice, man, he would give us a couple $, and then some Fondusa to take. So we would walk, be eating it, walking to the park with our money to get into the pool, man, and that's what we were waiting for. Fucking Coke, pickle, and swimming in the pool.
Shout out. I'll take this time to shout out Mike and Mark, Jimenez and friends. Them guys are wonderful for the Lubbock community, man. If you guys would just eat local and show them some love a couple times a week, go get some pan dulce on the weekend. They are a wonderful family that does wonders for the Lubbock community.
Yeah, for
Shout
sure.
them out. Don's, remember Don's? Because that's where we would get the frozen pickle juice.
Yeah.
And then you get a fried burrito, pickle juice, or whatever. And that was like back then when shit was cents. You know, you had $1, you got like 3 or 4 things with that one fucking dollar.
What year is this?
This was like late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
I used to be at Stinnett's all the time.
Yeah.
Snacks.
With the
What was the other name for
the
it?
slush puppy?
Come on.
The chango.
Chongos. Yeah, I was like, everybody called it
I'd ride my
Chongos.
bike over there.
Yeah, because the frozen pickle juices were like 10 cents.
Get a slush
The fried
puppy.
burritos were like 35 cents, 50 cents. So then when you that 1 hour that you had to come out of the pool where they said they were cleaning it, but they were bullshitting, you just go to Don's and fucking, yeah. It was the shit. I loved fucking summers. I know I opened it up with I hated summers, but I fucking loved it because... and
After your chores, you loved it.
Well, after the chores, but also too, like the neighborhood that the Arnett Benson was horrible. So I got basically bused to Shallow Water for the weekends, and then when it was summer, I lived there. But I loved it with my grandma. But then when I got old enough to hang out with my friends in the neighborhood, it was fucking over.
Shit, we'd have to go to the Olympia, man.
And yeah, that's people.
Fucking Olympia, man.
You know, had to work for their school clothes.
For the school clothes and putting everything on layaway at Levine's.
Anthony's.
Anthony's.
So what? That's what you remember is working.
Golly, yeah, the fucking
That's some old
Olympia,
people
man.
stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't relate. I don't know. I didn't do none of that.
Because you're 33?
Yeah.
So I'm
Just
Well, and
missed
my
it.
mom,
12 years older than
I
you?
didn't
12,
work
13?
until I didn't start working until I was like 19, maybe. I never worked. Well, that's not true. I guess when I was like in junior high, my stepdad took me around to the soccer. It was when Stripes first opened up, and he was working for Stripes at the time, doing like promotional stuff. So he would take me and I would just like hand out coupons. So that summer I did have about 800 like slush puppy coupons. So I did go to the guy. Well, I had a car, so I guess I must have been like, no, I don't know. I had a bunch of fucking slush puppy coupons for like the rest of my time that I lived in where I lived at in Greenwood. But I grew up like I went to school. In elementary school, I went to Westwind on 43rd. But then we moved to Greenwood when I was 10 years old, and I went to all the schools there. And Greenwood is just like a tiny little kind of farming community.
You're talking about a town, Greenwood?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
outside of Midland.
Oh, okay.
But it's not really. It's much bigger now. Like when I lived there, we didn't have any stoplights. We had the gas station, we had the little store, and then we had an uncle's, and that was it. And then we had a car wash, like one of those that you do it yourself car wash.
Yeah.
And now they have all kinds of stuff. They have, I don't know if you guys saw recently, there was that story about Roosters, a place called Roosters that wouldn't play, like the manager got mad that they were playing cumbia music. Did y'all see that story
no.
at 806er? They have that. They have a little pizza spots. They have all kinds of stuff now, but when I was there, there was like nothing. Like my school was literally built in the middle of a cotton field type thing.
In a barrack.
So we lived out in the country. We had a 4-wheeler, we had a golf cart, so I would just ride around on the 4-wheeler on the golf carts with my friends. But I didn't have to work, but it's like I could go to the little store and like get snacks and stuff, but we didn't have pools. You would have to go to somebody's house to swim. We didn't really have, there was nothing out there.
Yeah, we've fucking lived it up because I get what you're saying.
But I didn't have to work though.
Yeah.
I started working when I was 15, and my mom was a single mom, and so I would work and I would give her like most of my check, and just pay for like my car and my gas and insurance. And then I met my husband, or me and my husband started dating when we were 14, but we didn't have cell phones back then, or we had them, but I had an older cousin. She's like 2 years older than me, and so I was out doing things I probably shouldn't have been doing. And in the summer, I'd be like, all right, well, maybe we'll catch each other. Like, we'd go do our own thing. He'd be with his friends. I'd be with my cousin. And maybe we'd hang out if we ran into each other, or, call the landline. Like,
Golly, I haven't seen a house phone in a long fucking time.
My mom still got one.
Does she really?
Yeah.
I still remember the house that my mom still lives in. I know that number. I know that phone number.
And she still has a landline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever use it.
I still know my grandma's number.
It's one of the only, like, that number and my mom's cell phone number are the only phone numbers I know by heart. And mine.
Yeah, if I got arrested and you had to call someone, I'm
shit
fucked.
out of luck,
I don't
bro.
know anyone's
Out
fucking
of
number.
luck.
Yeah.
I could call my job. I don't know that they would help me, but
I could call 988.
Well,
Like-
That's the only number I know.
if you don't let me out of this cell, I'm going to kill
They
myself.
show them the phone, and it's the old school with the
With the rotary?
yeah, and they tell them how to use it, and they're just like can't figure it out, man.
Well, that, and they say, how do you use a phone?
Well,
and
yeah,
they,
but
they-
then
and they all go
With
like
this.
Oh,
this.
yeah.
I hate when like not necessarily guys like people y'all's age, but older people will make fun of young people for not knowing how to use a rotary phone, but then they can't set up their Apple Watch. So we all have different skills. We all know different shit.
I'm like right in the middle, because I had to learn all this stuff for myself and set it up for my parents. But then, like, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to do it no more.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm done.
My this morning when I got off work, everybody was our punch-in, like our time clocks are not working, so everybody's having to do it on the computer. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. I figured out how to do it. I already knew how to do it, so I did it in like 5 seconds, whatever. Everyone else, sheer panic. They have to have literally the administrator show them how to clock in and out on the computer. I'm like, you guys are nurses. They're brilliant nurses, but they're technologically, a lot of them, illiterate.
I don't know.
But
I rather know how to change my
I'm just a
tire
secretary. I
than
just answer the
fucking
phone.
my smartwatch. I'm just saying, I'd rather know how to change my tire than the smartwatch.
Well, yeah, but
What's
you can
gonna
look.
save
But
me?
you can look up on YouTube how to change a tire.
I don't know. It's different. It's different. I have my brother.
Not really. There's a guy. There's a man that's like in his 50s or 60s, and he has all these videos. He's like, if your dad didn't teach you how to do
Yeah.
this,
It's really sweet.
Maybe. Well,
I
I
get.
don't know. I just don't understand dudes who can't do nothing on their phone, but got every porn shit on there. You're like, dude, how'd you get that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty shameful.
That's because they just click on stuff. It's a virus. It doesn't matter. Ruin their phone.
I think as a man, you should know how to change the oil on a car.
Change the oil?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm old though.
I would think that's fairly easy for any
It's
young
not. I mean,
boy
the hardest part is
learn.
getting the car elevated.
Yeah.
Bro, my brother-in-law.
My wife can change the oil on my car.
My sister Roseanne, her husband didn't know how to boost a car
Oh hell.
with cables, and my mom had to go out there and do it for him. And she calls me, right, because they're in D.C., and she was like, "You'll never believe this." And I was like, "What? What happened, right?
How old is he?
Tell me the cheeseman. He is... God,
I can't
think
talk
he's like
shit because I
41
always
now.
forget which.
41?
Yeah, he's 41.
I always forget which battery is it that you got to ground it.
Yeah, but you could Google that.
What do you mean? Which battery?
You could look
Yeah,
that up.
because you don't put it to the terminals on each.
I do.
One of them you got to put it on the metal
No,
frame.
I'll put him, there's a black one and a red one.
Well, you're-
Buff up.
you can fuck up your battery if you did that.
Well,
That's what I'm saying. I always forget if it's the dead battery or the good car that you got to ground the. For real, bro. I'm not lying.
You're full of shit.
and now
No.
you're gonna need to Google that.
I'm not lying.
Yeah.
No,
For real,
man.
you're supposed to ground one of those.
I don't believe that.
You don't remember your dad ever fucking putting it to
Dude,
the metal frame?
I've seen where
But
they
that
have-
works. I get what you're saying.
Is-
That it works.
okay.
But you'll fucking kill the battery. Like
okay.
you'll fuck it up if you did that.
He's
Well,
like,
it's
I'm
still-
boosting someone.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
their problem.
That's their problem. If I'm out
It
there
fucks
doing
up the
it-
other car.
Yeah, when she called me, I was like, she was like, "Man, you'll never get it." I was like, "What?" She's like, Travis's Roseanne's car was dead in the morning, so Travis had to boost her. And I was like, "Okay." And guess what happened? I'm like, he got ran over, like got electrocuted. Like, what the fuck happened? He didn't know how to do it. He was standing out there for 30 minutes looking at it. And I was like, "For real?" She's like, "Yeah." So I had to go out there, and I was like, "This is how you do it." And hooked it up.
Just
and
fucking
boosted
YouTube this shit.
I was
Yeah,
like,
he could have Googled it and saved himself the embarrassment.
and he's an FBI agent that works at the Pentagon.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Not an
America.
FBI agent.
America, no A.
That's
Take
law
that A
enforcement
off.
for you.
Day off.
Dude, some of my highlighted years of my life was in middle school.
That's my
Because
thing.
we were doing shit we weren't supposed to.
Loved
Dude.
middle school.
And that's why my life is kind of boring now because we were fucking.
I think
You
I
see,
hated middle school. I hated most.
You
I
didn't like
hated
middle
most
school?
of it. Well, I
But that's
was
the only I went to. Quit after that.
I was deeply closeted and confused and just terrified all the time.
Yeah.
I was scared, but I didn't know why because I didn't understand what was going on with me. I didn't know why I was so different from everybody else, and I couldn't figure it out. I mean, maybe on some level I knew, but it wasn't like, you're scared. You're scared that somebody's gonna find out your secret, and then you lose everything. You lose all your friends. You lose your family.
dang, that's
Well,
hard.
It's different. Like I feel like I didn't really. I never knew who I was until, like, I came out, and then
Did you lose any
And then I
friends
started-
after that? Like, when you came out, did you lose any friends? Were there any friends, like, that didn't want to be your friends? Or like,
no,
especially, like, on the female side?
no.
Well, that's good. 'Cause
No, the
I
first-
mean, I know pretty sure there's, like, on the guy side, I can see guys.
I mean,
being
I
like,
did.
no,
I
don't
guess
hang out.
before I came out, I was studying to be a Jehovah's Witness, but then I met my wife, and I was like, well, you can't be a gay Jehovah's Witness.
You can.
You just can't do anything. You just can't have a relationship with anybody else.
What do you mean?
You have to be celibate. If you're gonna be, if you can be a homosexual person and a Jehovah's Witness, but you can't have a partner.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
You can't be in a relationship. You just have to be single. Or you can marry somebody that's the opposite sex, but you can't. Like, I couldn't be married to a woman and be a Jehovah's Witness. I would have been disfellowshipped. But I never got baptized, so I couldn't be disfellowshipped. So I'm still technically allowed to study with the Jehovah's Witnesses. But I
never knew
just
shit
don't.
like that.
I don't know.
No, I didn't know.
But
I just know because my
So there's no.
my best friend from high school was kind of the reason. I mean, I was in love with her, but I didn't really accept it at the time. But I was studying to be a Jehovah's Witness, so I could go to church with her, so I could be at the church with her. But and we were still friends. It was just that, like, she didn't come to my wedding, and because she, like, couldn't really. But she was never ugly about it. And I don't know if it's just the Jehovah's Witnesses that I know, but they've never been ugly to me or, like, said ugly things about, like, gay people.
Yeah.
Like, I showed when I was getting married, like, shopping for dresses and stuff, I would send pictures to her, and she would, and like I sent pictures to her of, like me and my wife getting married, and she would say, "Oh, Kelsey looks so handsome. You look so like she was always nice about it. She just couldn't be there.
Maybe she was afraid that
to be like a witness to it. No, it's like as a Jehovah's Witness, because my grandmother's a Jehovah's Witness, and she couldn't go to the wedding either.
Like, I care about you, but I can't show the support.
From the conviction of being a Jehovah's Witness, right? I believe.
That's
insane.
Rough.
That's
crazy,
rough.
Man.
That is rough. I say that because
but I mean, I think they're not disrespectful about it, and they don't try to tell me, because Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in hell. They just think, as it says in the Bible, when you die, you just die, and your spirit just disappears. Like, you don't get to live on to live in heaven or live on the paradise earth.
You haven't been judged yet. That's what the Bible says. You're asleep.
Well, no, I mean, if you they think, like, if you have lived your life in sin and you've read the Word of God and you're in the truth, is how they say it. If you're in the truth and you die, but you didn't do it right, then you're just dead.
But that's what he's saying. Like, you're just asleep. Like,
yeah, but you have no consciousness. You don't exist in any form.
If you lived in sin, that's what you said. They believe if you lived in sin and you died, then you have no more.
If you lived in sin and you were unrepentant about it.
I don't know, man. Thing with I mean, they took in so many verses out of the Bible, which is contradicting what the Bible says. Is you don't add or you don't take away from the Bible, and there's many scriptures taken out of the Bible that the Jehovah's Witnesses use.
Like which ones?
You have to look it up, but you can definitely look them up. That's a guaranteed thing. Jehovah's Witnesses. I mean, like I said, I hate knocking on people's religions or anything like that. I mean, everybody has their own thing going, but I mean, the word is the word. You know what I mean? So it is a fact. I mean, you could Google it. They take many scriptures out.
Well, yeah, but they also, I mean, they changed the translations.
You can say that, but I mean, it's pretty close. You can say you change the translation, but you're taking scripture out. It says, "Do not add or take away."
Right, but you know that verse in Leviticus that says if a man lies with a man as he lies with a woman is a sin. You know that's not what the verse actually said.
So,
they only put that started in like the 1914 or something.
Do you believe that God is life?
I don't know that I believe in God sometimes.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
But if you did, like you say, the word God would be life, right?
No, I mean I believe that God is love.
Okay. I get what you're saying, and I don't want to offend anybody at all. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, God is life. So you can love anybody you want to love, but you couldn't reproduce and create life as a woman and a woman, just like a man and a man cannot create life. And life.
Yeah, but that's not a prerequisite to being like a good Christian.
No, I'm not saying. First of all, you couldn't be a Christian. But what I'm saying is, your love for your wife is pure love. You love her.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking that away from you. What I'm saying is, according to the Bible, if we're going to go off what the Bible says, a man and a woman is life because they produce life. You cannot produce life with a woman, and a man can't. I'm not saying you're love.
Right, but I'm saying if there's a man and a woman that can't reproduce for whatever biological reason, does that mean their love is not life?
But then we know there's something wrong. If a man and woman, we know we'll go to the doctor and see what's wrong. Either there's something wrong with her or wrong with him that wasn't supposed to, but normally a man and woman can reproduce. Like if I was born with one leg, we all know we're born with two legs. We know something went wrong. So if a woman cannot produce babies, we know there's something wrong. Now, it's not saying it's bad or anything.
But that doesn't change her relationship with
who?
With God. I'm
not saying that because she can't have babies, it changes the relationship with God. What I'm saying is it's not life. Because if it was the norm to be with a woman or a man with a man, then there wouldn't be no more life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying your love is not love.
I mean, that's not even true. I know a lot of lesbian couples that have children.
They adopt, right? Or they had a man come in, or say you have to have that man's seed.
Yeah, so, being a lesbian doesn't mean my uterus stops working.
No, because you're still a woman.
Because you can still have children. What I'm saying is
people that have both.
What do you mean?
Some people are born with both reproductive organs.
Is that a norm?
No, but it happens.
I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, and I'm not saying.
So they could have a baby. and still have both reproductive organs. I'm just.
No. I get what you're saying, and like I said, I'm not trying to say anything, but like I said, like I've only met you a few times, and I think you're a great person, what I've met, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about anything that your choices. Those are your choices.
So it's a choice.
What, to love your wife?
To be gay.
I don't know. I mean, I choose to love my wife, and that's my choice. But I picked her. I could have picked anybody else. It could have been a guy. If I go to jail, I could find the love of my life in jail. Shit, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, you don't know you're gay unless you try it.
Right. Okay. Sure.
I could be gay. I don't know. Right now, I mean, I
don't know that I agree
shits,
that.
and it hurt. I don't think it's gonna go my way, unless maybe I'm the quarterback.
Well, you gotta live it up. That's why.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I don't know.
So you gotta get the bidet and get it nice and.
That's what I'm afraid of. That's why it's there,
you know?
and I'm scared, and I'm like, oh my lord.
You might like it.
I might like it.
You don't
want to
change your life.
Change my whole perspective on life.
So no, but what I was gonna say is that the verse in Leviticus that people often quote, the words that were originally in that verse didn't mean man lying with man.
Now, somebody tell you that, or did you do the study?
I did the study.
You did it.
When you go back to the original, because
and Leviticus is originally written in what language is the Old Testament written in?
In Arabic, right?
Hebrew. Right? So you got Aramaic and Hebrew, and then the New Testament is Greek. Now you could go all these scholars, and they'll tell you, and even though it's been translated, the book is still what it's meant to say.
Yeah, but the words are not always correctly translated. Because the words that were originally in there, the guy who wrote that book of the Bible, he was very famous for kind of making up his own words. And the words that were in there were arsenokoitai, and then there was another word that started with M that I can never remember. But in the original Bible, in the original text, the words that he uses are Hebrew words for arsenokoitai and something else.
What I'm saying, King James is the closest original for the translation, right?
I'm acting like.
And then people say, well, King James this and this. That. Well, it was only named after him because back then it was against the law to have a Bible, and you had to get the permission from the king. So in honor of him allowing to get all these 30 scholars together, the greatest scholars of the Bible together to agree on what the translation was, they named it the King James because it was there in his time.
Yeah, but back then the book didn't say homosexual.
It said man laying with man. Like I said.
But it didn't say that, though. It said arsenokoitai.
Okay, and what does that mean?
And that means...
so
there's one word that means somebody who's, like, lazy, indulgent, slovenly, unclean. And then there's another word that was... it used to be common practice for older men to take younger men and basically have them as, like, a sexual slave. Mm-hmm. And that's what the second word meant. So that word really should have been translated and used to be translated as pedophile. But they changed it in 1914.
1914. Okay. I'm just saying that I believe it's life, and without a man, like I said, you could have beautiful kids, you and your wife, and all, and that's fine, but you still need a man's seed. You know what I mean?
Not really. No, there's scientific developments now that you can use the DNA of two women to create a child. That baby can only be a woman, but...
But that's what I'm saying. It's not the norm. It's not a natural thing at all.
There's a lot of things that we do. This is not natural, what we're doing here. Microphones are not natural. Glasses aren't natural. Blood pressure medication isn't natural.
That's why I'm taking it. I'm ready for this heart attack. Any moment I would drop dead.
There's a lot of things that aren't natural.
Well... What I was going to say is I understand you were saying you were afraid in your middle school years, but those were my highlighted years because this man right here had no license, had his own vehicle, picking me up in the 9th grade, cruising around like we were fucking old enough, going to clubs and like, where's your ID? Oh, we forgot it. And then they just mark with fucking X's. We go to the bathroom, wash the fucking X's off, drink beers in the club, and we're in 9th fucking grade. And I always see like these social medias was like my 14-year-old was afraid to order for himself at the restaurant, and like we were fucking wild, man, fucking wild.
I also really appreciated like your lens and like your perspective of that not being a great time for you. Because, like, thinking back to it, because everything that we were doing was socially acceptable, or we didn't have that fear of somebody finding out, things
Yeah.
about us.
Yeah.
Like that changes how much we enjoyed.
It
just
changes
middle
about
school.
it changes everything because I lived in a state of constant anxiety.
Yeah,
I could
can't
never
even
live in the
imagine.
moment, and I felt like I could never really be myself. I couldn't get close to people because if they found out my secret, then basically it was always like I would just die.
So then you're afraid to like go and do those fun things, go out and party and do stuff because what if I accidentally say something? Like
Yeah.
that could, yeah.
In a small town like that, everybody would know.
A
in
very
heartbeat.
small town.
In
And
a
especially
heartbeat.
because like I knew a lot of my friends did grow up very religious, and a lot of them were maybe not outwardly, but a lot of them did, think that being gay was wrong.
Yeah.
So I couldn't say anything. You can lose my friends. When you're that age, that's all that matters to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as somebody spreads a rumor. Because, there were kids in middle school that had a terrible time. And it's because they didn't have the person that was taking them in the car to the club and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, on top of that, I
enjoying their...
Or what did
I
Vince
was
Vaughn
never
say?
like
Spread
in-
that rumor he beat Down syndrome.
I was never in like sports or cheer or anything like that. I was always just like a weird, quiet like reader kid. So I had friends. I had a lot of friends, but they weren't like the popular kids. I would get bullied a lot for just like being short, wearing my hair the same way every day, which I still do today. But I get made fun of a lot.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't a good time. It was not a good time.
I did not enjoy high school. That was like but I liked middle school. I liked 9th grade specifically. And I don't know if it's because we were the older kids in the, like here,
I liked my like junior and senior years. I mean,
old
I
are
still
you?
wasn't out, but
40.
Oh, way older than.
Yeah, I mean, we were renting fucking hotel rooms in middle school and
Yeah,
buying
no
beer.
business.
Well, we had a we
And
had a
buying
ride.
fucking
we had a ride
alcohol.
at 7th grade. We had the truck.
Yeah.
do you
7th
think any
grade.
of that affected your mental development?
Oh yeah, look at
Oh,
me now.
for sure.
Half
Yeah.
retarded over here.
I think that my
I
best.
think it affects your emotional development too, doing that stuff at that age.
How so?
Because you're messing with your brain in a chemical way that's not supposed to be. You're
Explains
not.
a lot.
Your brain's not finished. Your brain's not finished developing until you're at least like 25.
But I think now you're still you still have other shit that's gonna fuck with your mental development too, though.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah. Now social media and everything like that, even just having cell phones is affecting children's brains in ways that we've never even imagined.
But I couldn't imagine
But-
having a boring ass fucking middle school compared to like how you were saying. I'm not calling you boring, but you're saying you were scared,
Yeah, you did.
so you didn't do much.
It
I
wasn't
couldn't
boring.
imagine.
I mean, I just did different stuff. Like, I mean, but I loved reading. I still love reading.
yeah.
So that was me escaping into a world and being able to think about something other than my own problems.
What I'm saying is I couldn't imagine doing it any other way than I did it.
Yeah.
Because it worked for me and it was fucking awesome. I'm a boring ass person now because I've got all that shit out of my fucking just my soul.
I
is-
get what you're saying though. Like maybe like our perspective on things now that
But it-
because we were so young, we couldn't really understand like all the things we were doing as adults.
Well,
you know what I mean?
it also like, so like with the whole social media thing and kids, they're at an age where their brain is growing and they're comparing themselves to these unattainable like things that they're seeing that is not real. Everything's filtered, and so now
I think that falls more on a girl though, right?
they're like
Because like the girl beauty thing,
It
like,
applies
they
to
see
boys, too,
All these girls,
boys
like
boys as well, but it like the workout videos, the get
If you're not an alpha male.
look this way and do this and have these things, and people compare themselves, and
that's the biggest what do you call it? Thief of joy.
yeah,
Is comparing yourself to everybody because you
Yeah.
could have something so good and then you see somebody else and you're like, damn.
and that's literally all that social media is.
Yeah.
Well, that was a question that I was going to ask y'all, and I guess we'll ask it now. But, Selena, what's something that can easily steal your joy?
Honestly, if I know something bad is happening to somebody that I care about, that will steal my joy. But other than that, nothing and nobody can steal my joy because I've had so much like I feel like I didn't get to have joy until I figured out who I was. And when I
It's your
came out,
right
when I
to-
figured out who I was, I declared ownership over every experience that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody can take anything from me because that's mine. And I don't care, like, I don't know how to say this. Like, when I released myself, because my entire life I thought I would have to grow up and get married to a man and have children and have a job that I hated and just be miserable for the rest of my life. I always thought that. And when I freed myself from that box, I freed myself from everything else. I freed myself from all of society's expectations of what a woman or what a Latina or what anybody is supposed to do. And now everything I do is because I want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I never feel like, oh, I should have a better job, or, oh, I should have kids, or I should have this, or I should have that, because I don't have to do any of those things. I only have to do what I want to do.
For me personally, it's a negative fucking person. Legit, a negative person will fucking
Yeah,
steal
but you
my
gotta just
joy.
let that negative person
But-
stay in their negativity.
And believe me, I try, but it just irks me when every fucking like point of view or an outlet that you're like, hey, this, well, it's gonna, well, fuck, dude, I'm done helping you. Like
Yeah. The
I've
woe me
tried,
guy?
fuck you, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, some people are only happy if they're miserable.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, you're right. And that right there,
You
I've
just
got,
let those people stay miserable.
you know, I have people that I work with that are like that, and I've got certain people in my not my family, but my life that I deal with like that, and I just stay away from them because it's the negativity rubs off, and then you're
I'm sorry.
no, not you are by far not at all a negative person. It's you get it what I'm saying
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
Like it rub off on you, and then that 10-second. What's the saying? Like that 10-second bad 10 seconds of your day is not an actual bad day.
Yeah.
You just harp on that 10 seconds. That's
Dude, it's
fucking.
draining dealing with those people, bro.
Oh, for sure.
Fucking drain the shit.
I
out
mean,
of
it
you.
depends on if you get shot in that 10 seconds of your day, that kind of does ruin your whole day,
Oh,
I
yeah.
would say.
But did you live? That's the main thing. Did you live?
Yeah, but still getting shot is not, like, you're still not going to be able to have a good day after you get shot.
But did you
I'll
live
try, yeah.
and do you have insurance?
Oh,
Do you have insurance? And was it a life
I
debilitating
should have
injury?
died. I should have died.
What's something that'll steal your joy?
I don't know. So I was going to say, like, me, myself, like, I'm the only person that can kind of, decide that I'm going to have a bad day or have a bad reaction to something. But I used to be like that. Like, I would let negative people would piss me off because you try to help and you try to help and it never goes anywhere. But in the last, I would say, like, 5 years, I've just been like, all right, well, I'm out. Like, and it does not affect me,
You set your boundaries.
like, at all. And I think, like, dealing with some of my own stuff and, like, move along. Like, why am I going to let that like, they can go on having a bad day and being in their mood or being negative, but I really don't need to be around it. So ever since I kind of figured that out, I don't think that there's anything that really makes me upset other than, like, my kids right now because,
Yeah,
parenthood.
it's parent shit.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that'll steal my joy is a fucking eggshell in my Egg McMuffin.
I think that's
That's
first
crazy.
of all.
I don't know they use real eggs. I thought they used,
I
like,
was
a
just
jug.
about to say that. Like, I would be kind of
An
happy,
egg?
confused.
An Egg
I'd be like, you used a
McMuffin.
real egg?
An Egg McMuffin is a real egg. They crack the egg,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought they used the carton
and
shit.
then you
all the
fucking
time.
crunch in the eggshell. You're like, motherfuckers.
At least you know
man."
it's a real egg.
Yeah, it's a real egg.
Or you order
It's
something that you completely different.
What's something that'll steal your joy?
I'll tell you, when I was talking about comparison, like, I used to be really, really bad at that. Like, no matter what I got, no matter what car I bought, a house, whatever, or whatever money I made, I would see somebody else and be like, fuck, man, how is he doing better than me?
Okay.
Like, fuck, man, I worked so hard. And then got to the point I was just like, you know what, man, fuck that. I just can't be happy. I was never happy. I wasn't unhappy for them. I wasn't wishing them bad. I was just like, why
Why
be
can't I
there?
get that?
Yeah, why can't I be there yet? Why can't I be there? Now I'm just like, it's whatever. I don't give a shit. If, whatever I have is what I have, and I don't care. Just want to be happy. That's it.
Yeah, you're right, because I did that a lot growing up. being a young adult, it was always like, well, fuck, why not me? Why the fuck? I'm doing the same shit they're doing. Why the fuck didn't it happen to me? But you're right. You're fucking right. Yeah, it sucks.
Because, there's always going to be somebody with more money. There's always going to be somebody with a nicer car, a bigger fucking house, kids that listen,
better opportunities.
That's a good one.
The thing is, if you're never happy with who you are, nothing you do will ever make you happy.
Yeah. So I finally had to just get happy with everything I had and be grateful, man.
That's what I'm like. I mean, even when I was a kid, I spent a lot of time by myself, but that's how that's how I knew who I was. Like, that's how I knew that I believed in what I believed in, because I didn't have a lot of people telling me what I should believe in. But that's like, I've never had a problem like spending a Friday night by myself, because I'm good at entertaining myself. I have fun with myself. I enjoy being by myself and like, doing whatever I want to do. Watch a musical, sing a song,
I've mastered the art of being,
I like hanging out with me.
I love my me time. And I've said this time and time again on the podcast. I have no problem going to the movies by myself, out to eat by myself. Number one, it's cheaper.
Yes.
I mean, because my wife is going to order 8 fucking drinks and 10 appetizers and take bites of each and everything. But anyways, I love to fucking do shit by myself. I
make
my
myself
time.
laugh,
I'm the most funniest person I know.
At dinner, it's just me by myself. I'm the funniest guy there. Best
And
looking
it's
dude there,
$6.
too.
I'm the best looking guy.
Best
there.
looking dude at the table. It's me by myself, but
But that means you're also the worst looking guy at the table too.
that is
Same
too.
time.
Hey, we gotta look at the positive side.
Yeah.
Hey,
Come on
Negative
now.
Nancy. We just,
Negative, man. Golly.
we just talked about, like, you said your first job. What was, like, your real first job?
Not with my pop.
Not
You
with
know?
your pop.
Okay, because I had like 30 times. It was actually Sonic. I met my first wife there.
For real?
Yeah, my first one. There's a line of them. But yeah, my first one was Sonic, man.
You like that job?
Fuck no, I
No?
didn't like it. I wanted to quit the first week I was there, and then I saw her, and I was like, I'm gonna stick this out, right? And then they gave me my raise, a whole 10 cents. And, whoa, I could get cheese on this. I could get cheese on this burger. And I stayed there for a while, trying to woo her. And then we're actually sitting outside in my car, and I was gonna quit and go back with my dad, right? I was gonna quit and go back with my dad, and we're sitting in my car, and her dad pulled up, and then she looked at me. She's like, "Do you love me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love you." And she's like, "Well, then let's go." I was like, "Well, what happened?" Right? Because I didn't know until I was like, "Oh shit!"
Feature
that's
Bob and Rosie.
Bro, I was like, "Fuck!" So we leave, man, and we leave, and
Hop on, Esta.
dude, she kept her dad kept calling her phone, man. And I
Like,
was
well, now you gotta
fuck.
get married.
Right, so she
Well, that's-
comes to my house, and this dude shows up to. I don't know how he found out where I lived, but it was like 3 days later. He drove onto the yard in his fucking dually truck. Right, drove onto it. The only thing I was so happy with, my dad wasn't there. If my dad was there,
That would have been a fight.
my dad would have fucked his
Yeah.
life up, man. We grew up in Tech Ghetto, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
my dad would have murdered this dude. He was from out here in the country. They went to Friendship. It was a whole different people. And I was like, fuck your dad, right? And I was like, holy shit, this dude's gonna fuck me up.
Time to get some balls.
Right? So she didn't want to come outside, so I go outside, and I was like, she doesn't want to leave, sir, right? And she was like, I don't give a fuck. Come on, I'm gonna fuck you up. And I was just like, sir, I was like, fuck, man. And he was like, tell her that she can come get all her. She like told her, like, say he was disowning her, right? So I come back and she's crying, and I'm like, damn. And I felt really bad, man. And for like 2 weeks, she cried and cried. And then I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna go over there and tell them that I'm sorry that I took her, but I really love her, and that I don't want them fighting. You know what I mean? I don't want them fighting. Dude, it took all the fucking balls that I had, little balls, young, to go knock on this man's house. Knocked on his fucking door, bro. And he fucking comes out with his gun. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I was like, sir, my voice was like super high, right? And I was like, sir, I'm so sorry, but she loves y'all, and I just want y'all to work it out because it hurts me seeing her hurt. And then he was like, well, tell her she can come home, but you can never come here. And I was like, that's cool with me. You know, like, I love her, and I'm still going to try to see her. But I just couldn't see her I think she was more afraid to let her dad know she had a boyfriend. You know what I mean?
And then it went far south
and it
after
just
that.
it got out of control. And I was like, fuck.
One of my aunts had to get married to the man that's still her husband when she was like 16 because they got home from their date, I don't know, 5 minutes after she was supposed to.
Damn.
So then my grandfather closed the door. He said, "No, she's yours now."
That's
that
how
was
my
it?
parents got married.
Yeah.
No
Really?
way.
Yeah.
I never
They
knew
skipped
that.
school. She skipped school with him, and
That was it.
guess you're getting married.
If you feel like you can make an adult decision, you're gonna be an adult and get married now.
So I brought her back.
And she was
man.
never allowed back in the house
From that day on?
from that day on.
But at least they're still married.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it
they're
worked
still
out for 'em.
married.
We didn't work out.
Neither did my parents.
I brought her back, and like I still saw her, and dude, that dude would fucking work me like I would work with my dad and put up with all his bullshit all day, and then I would go over there to see her, and then he would have me do shit there, like fucking the yard, working on the fence. helping.
You're fucking his daughter.
I wasn't even sleeping with her yet. I was just like, what the fuck, man? So I really liked her, right? So I would go, and he would just I would work, and then he'd be like, all right, well, we'll see you tomorrow. And I'd be like,
8 o'clock.
And I'd
8
be
o'clock.
like,
Just looking at her through the window.
I would be like, bye, bye, and I would leave, and then she would call me. She's like, I'm so sorry. I was like, nah, it's cool, no worries. So it went on, and then she ran away again. And I was like, fuck, I'm not giving you back this time. This is mine. And then we ended up getting married and having a kid and stuff like that. And it just never worked, me and him, right?
Yeah,
Never,
yeah.
We just couldn't see eye to eye, me and this dude. And then, of course, we got divorced and all this shit. And then I got remarried, and I ran into him. Dude talked to me like everything was fucking cool. And I was just like...
That's a good dude right there. Now I'm a good dude coming on.
I was like, man.
You're not porking his daughter anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I had a friend, Joe Munoz, and we grew up together and stuff like that. And he was married to a girl named Marisa, and her dad is named Juan. And Joe would be like, man, he's always tough on him, always tough and tough. I said, dude, you're sleeping with his daughter, bro. He's not. Every time I saw him, it was, hey, Juan, talking to me.
Offering you shit.
Offering me shit, bringing me, because they went to Christ the King too. So getting the wings, and you want to get a beer, and like super nice. He's like, damn, that motherfucker's always mean to me, and he's super nice to you. I was like, dude, I'm not with his daughter, bro. It's all good over here, safe.
You said Sonic, right? And it instantly brought me to a memory on, you know who, was it Trailer Trash Tammy or Trailer Park Tammy? Her name is Chelsea. She's a comedian. You know what I'm talking about? She has a podcast called The Viral Podcast. She was talking about on the very first few episodes that her and her sister worked at Sonic, and that her sister would go on breaks to go like fucking tongue kiss a guy at Sonic, and they finally like started dating or whatever, and he was like, I'll pick you up at your house. So they both lived with their grandma. So the dude shows up at the house. She's like, what the fuck's your cousin doing here? She's like, what? She's like, that guy's your cousin. She's like, well, he's been fucking tongue punching my sister for fucking months. Like,
White people. Well, that's why I never dated Mexicans, because my mom is one of 17 children, so I could be related to anybody.
God dang.
17?
Fuck.
So no cable for sure.
None.
Yeah, no cable.
No, but they all, I think that's why she never really made me work, is because she had to work from the time she was like 13, and I think all her brothers had to work from the time they were 10. They were all working out in the cotton fields pulling weeds.
Yeah, limpia.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that from all my family. That was the shit
Yeah.
that my uncles and my mom
Every
and
summer,
my
man.
every...
Hit the
But that's,
limpia.
I mean, a lot of my like aunts and uncles will like complain about that stuff. But I'm like, yeah, but don't you want us to live a nicer life? Like, didn't you do that so that I could live a life of luxury? So that I could live a life of leisure and I would never have to work that hard? Don't you want the next generation after you to have a better life, you know? An easier life?
I get it, but then you're torn, right? Because then
Yeah,
you
'cause
become
then they're
weaker.
soft ass
They're
fuck.
fucking soft.
Yeah.
I don't
raised-
think, there, but
I
I don't think
raised
there's
weaker
anything
and
wrong with
weaker.
being soft.
I
you
raised
get
my
weaker,
son the way
though.
I was raised.
You know what I mean?
I don't know no other
Weaker
way.
in what capacity?
As well, I mean, as
Like physically weaker, or
mentally weaker.
How does not
if you're not out there
doing
going through
hard labor make you mentally weaker?
No, not hard labor. I'm talking working with family out there. Because you're working in Olympia, it's all family. So I've been fired 500-600 times from my dad working.
And
for
I
me.
better show up tomorrow.
And I better show up the next fucking day with a smile on my face.
So like,
get yelled at.
are you saying like work ethic?
As like mental, because anywhere you go, not everybody's gonna like you, right? And you're gonna get jobs. People are gonna talk shit, and they might not like verbally cuss you out, but they're gonna be, you didn't do this right, and just always riding your ass. And if you're not able to, because I know kids that'll break down, like, oh, they told me that I didn't do it right, and they're sad and crying and complaining. Like, that's all they said. Did they say fuck you? Your shit was ugly. What would they say? Well, they said I didn't do it right. Well, did you do it right? Well, no. Well, that's what they fucking told you.
That's why I got in your ass.
Yeah, they got in your ass, but they can't take that ass chewing like like you could take an ass chewing, you could take one, I could take one, and it doesn't bother. And I'm pretty, you know what I mean. But if you never had that experience, especially with family, because family are the most ruthless. Especially
So
Spanish.
you think that to become mentally strong, you have to have been verbally abused?
No, it makes
repeatedly.
For his
as a
argument,
child?
it makes you stronger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't. It
You
doesn't have
don't
to.
need it,
You don't
but
need
it-
it,
but
but
if
it'll
you go
make you
through it, yeah.
stronger. It'll aid you.
Yeah, but it also gives you generational trauma.
Yeah,
It
and you need
could
that.
make you stronger. It could do the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, because
That's
everybody.
how you weed them out. Whether you become a lion or a lamb.
You know-
What do you want to be?
I know it
Food or
worked for
prey?
me.
It worked for me.
Yeah, for my dad to
I-
get in my ass all the
tell
fucking
you
time.
But it didn't work for everyone, did it?
I don't know
There are
how
some of
everyone.
you,
I don't
some
know how
people y'all's
everyone
age
else
that are
was
not here
raised.
anymore because of that.
And nobody will remember their name.
Yeah.
Do you think people are going to remember yours?
Yes, I hope so.
Who? Why would they?
You? You're gonna be that fucking asshole.
I
What
don't
was
know
his
your last name now, dude.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna be like, what was that fucking asshole's name on there? JP.
Yeah.
What was his name? Someone. Oh yeah, someone. You'll remember.
Maybe.
We'll see. Only time will tell.
Yeah. I believe everything that you're saying is true because it worked for me. It did.
Because if you don't, then you'll be like, you'll just break down from everything bad that happens to you, and bad shit's gonna
Because I've
happen.
I don't
got
know,
young cousins. I've got young.
I had like a pretty
No, we're not
easy
sa-
upbringing. My mom never really like I never got hit or anything like that. But when people say like mean things to me, it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, but I'm not saying this as a.
And I didn't I
blanket
didn't have to go
thing.
through that.
Yeah, he's
I'm
not
saying-
saying it's a necessity.
Yeah, it's not-
it's
but I'm
just a
saying-
tool
but
that helped
as-
us.
In general, though, it will.
Yeah,
I
but
think we need stronger.
different things work for different people. You know, I think mostly getting people to not be affected by criticism isn't about like, you know, you don't necessarily have to critique them constantly for them to learn how to deal with it. You just have to teach them why they're receiving that criticism, and you have to remind them it's not a reflection of who you are as a person. It's just a reflection of this thing that you did.
But we don't
But that's
have
not
the
who you are.
same in for nothing. Like, you know, we live in a soft ass world. We live in a world where we gotta fucking watch what we say. We gotta watch how we offend people. That's not coming from nowhere. You know, I think compared to how shit was back in the day, you got your ass chewed, you fucking took it, and you lived from it. You learned from it.
I think it benefited me.
And like I said, it worked for me.
You know, because I only went. I mean, you probably could tell I only went to 9th grade, but I only went to 9th grade, right? So I finished 9th grade and then I quit school, and then I joined the service. Of course, got a GED, joined the service and stuff like that. I still feel like I've done well for myself. I think I've done very well for myself, and that's because my dad got on my ass. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah, but
because I had
there's
that.
also there's people that grew up in the exact same situation you did, and now they're just like down and out alcoholic, drug addicts, deadbeat fathers. You know, it's not everybody responds to that type of criticism or verbal abuse the same way. But I think it's mostly about treating each child as an individual, learning what's going to work for them. Because for me, getting hit would never work.
But
Getting hit would never teach me
But
anything.
that's
Getting
to
hit
your
would not.
argument is our parents knew what worked for us.
Right.
And now it's to get
And
in
like
our
I said,
fucking
not
ass.
everybody's. But like I always say, somebody has to flip my burger.
Like, to me,
right?
the thing that
Somebody's
always
not
worked
gonna
for
make
me
it.
was
Somebody's not gonna make it, and somebody has to. Like, if I go to the restaurant, somebody's gonna have to make my shit, and it's not gonna be me. Somebody. That's the old saying. Somebody has to pump my gas. Somebody. So we're not all gonna make it. Not all of us. No matter what we do or how we brought up,
what's
we're all.
what's wrong with being
nothing.
a
There's
cook?
nothing because somebody has to do it, but that's not for me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Making average money a year is not for me. You know what I mean? If I was allowed to driving a regular car is just not for me.
Why are you not allowed to drive?
Because
We can get into it later.
it's a long story.
You have PTSD or you
No,
have a DUI?
no. I don't drink at all. I just don't drink at all. But it's definitely not a DUI. I drive a. Since,
Well, he's got a driver. He
I got
hired
a driver.
a driver.
So I have a driver now.
Anyways.
But I'll say before. Okay, so I was going to go get my license when I was 15, and then I already had a car when I was in 7th grade, and I kept getting no driver license tickets. So then it stopped me from getting. So I didn't give a shit. I kept driving and driving and driving and driving. So it just kept getting suspended. So now I'm 45 and still never held a license in my hand.
Goodness.
Yes.
That's like
But I've bought in many cars without a license. So now the judge said that I'm not allowed to drive at all. So now I have a driver that drives me everywhere. But
no, that could happen.
definitely, I'm 45 and never held a driver license in my life. It's not very. At first, I was like, "That's pretty. It's not cool, at all.
Yeah.
At all."
I mean, it is what it is.
How do you do you have an ID?
Mhm.
Is it just your military ID or?
No, I have a regular ID.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a passport. Everything.
Passport.
Just
Travel
everything
the
except
world,
the fucking license.
Except for driver license. I buy cars. Everybody's like, "How do you buy cars?" Just walk in there and buy
Just
it.
ask Curtis.
Yeah, how do you like? They sell.
They
you
don't
a
need your
car?
driver's license.
No,
They just need the money and the you
Yeah.
know proof of insurance or whatever.
learning new things.
You don't need a license to have proof of insurance.
Nope.
What was your first real job?
a telemarketer.
For real?
Bro, I worked out.
Was it conversions?
No, I worked at West.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say OSC
Oh,
and the Briarcroft.
that was on Q.
Yeah.
No,
So
No.
Wes.
West.
Yeah, I forgot I worked there too. I worked there for
I
like.
think everybody worked.
Is that
think-
the one on 19th right here?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Off of the loop.
It was conversions though at one time, right?
No, you're
No.
thinking further down.
Oh, more down.
That
Yeah.
was on South Loop, I think. That one, because I worked there too.
I think I worked at West for like, I don't know, 3 months, and I got like a $1,200 check. And I was cooking fools, man. They didn't agree to like the package, and I was still sending it to them. And they were like, "Man, you're our highest, blah blah blah." And I was like, I gotta dip the fuck out of here because I've been doing some shady shit, man. I mean, it didn't cost them nothing. It was just a packet being sent to them, but I think it was like $10 if I sent the packet. It was like $10 for me. I was just sending as soon as the motherfucker got on the phone, just boom, sending the shit.
You
Yeah.
have to get cussed out on that? Like people when you call them like, I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah, and that's where my dad's teaching of getting in my ass fucking work. I was like, "Oh, fuck you too. I'm sending you a packet anyway." What was your first job?
I worked at a Sally Beauty store
Oh,
shit.
shit. I like
over
that
the
store.
summer. Yeah.
They had.
I just
they
worked
had
with these like really
everything.
old racist ladies. They would always make me like watch the black people in the store.
For good reason.
Oh god dang.
No, most of the people that we had that stole, they were just like, you know, white crackheads.
Yeah.
You know, a bunch of white crackheads that would come in and steal the straighteners and shit.
Well, that's why the store closed. Too many white crackheads.
Sally's
still open?
Still open?
They closed down like what 3 or 4 of them.
The one on the north side.
They
Yeah,
got
Yeah, because all.
well,
the-
it's like Joann's. They got bought out by private equity, and they're using it to like flip money.
The one on
Like a
Quaker's still
mattress.
open, right?
Was that mattress place that's got no business ever? and
Yeah.
Open
Well,
like
that's just
10 of
money
them?
34th?
laundering.
Yeah.
On 34th Street?
There's a lot of them. There's a shit ton of them.
I was about to say, my buddy owns the one on 34th. They used to have the bears dancing. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
he's
talking
a
about?
crook.
Oh, Mattress Mac.
Hey, man. Hey.
No, Mattress Mac is real.
Yeah.
Mattress Mac is real.
Well, you know
That
what I'm
that
talking
man is a
about?
real Christian. Mattress
He's the one
Mac.
that,
He is a
that
really good man.
That supplied the mattresses
Yeah.
for the Katrina.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That
like-
man is doing the work of the Lord.
Way better than Joel's.
Faith without works is dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, way better than Joel's.
Yeah,
too.
for real.
Way better.
I like that dude. But you're talking about the one on 34th Street?
They're all money fronts. They're all.
First of all, that man right there. I'm gonna tell you about this man.
That's my friend.
He's my friend. He
He's
is
no Mattress
45.
Mac.
He looks like he's 95. Okay, and he has a good story. Okay,
He never used sunscreen a day in his life.
never, and you could tell. But he was held captive and was kidnapped by his housekeeper and her boyfriend and his brother, and they held him for 3 days, and they sodomized
And they
him.
Benjamin buttoned him, or
They sodomized
Oh,
him.
shit.
No, this is no joke. I'm not even making
No.
this up. Now he lives in constant pain, and he killed one of the brothers, and
Hell
the
yeah.
other one's in prison. And so he keeps a picture. If you go in his office, he keeps a picture of the brother. So every time
That he killed?
No, of the dude in prison.
Oh.
And every time the dude comes up for parole or something like that, he goes to it. And then he writes that dude a letter saying how he killed his brother.
Damn.
But he, like...
I'm curious. Do you think he's okay with you telling his story?
Of what?
Of everything.
It's inspirational.
Yeah.
You can live through
Is it?
anything. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
is he living though? But
If his dad didn't get on his ass, he wouldn't
But if
be
he's
where
constantly
at.
looking at that picture, he hasn't moved on. He'll never get past it.
That's motivation.
He can't live his life without thinking about that thing that happened to him.
Yeah. That's how I
He's
push it.
stuck.
That's what I do.
He's mentally stuck.
I go out there and I look at that cotton weed and I'm like, yeah, I better get my ass to work.
Yeah.
I'm out here in the Olympia.
I don't want to get sodomized.
I don't
Again.
want to get.
I'm
But yeah,
saying, like, that is so sad.
it is, and like he is in constant. I don't know what nerve damage it got him, but like the bad thing, it was his housekeeper that set him up, and then she pretended like she was being held captive too in the other room, and they would go in there and beat him up until the last day they sodomized him and they left him in there. Somehow he got loose.
Was this for an extortion thing or?
Supposedly they thought he had like $200,000-$300,000 in his house, and that's what the housekeeper had told those dudes, and they were trying to find the money. He didn't have that. He didn't have that kind of money there. Yeah, he didn't have the money, and they did all that to him. He ended up killing that dude. Well, check this out. The IRS came, I think they found like $20,000. Got him for not reporting that on his shit, and now he has to pay taxes.
Oh
on it.
damn! Call that justice.
Got fucked twice.
Yeah, twice.
Call
I think
that
the second
justice.
time was bigger than the first time.
My
Well,
first
you know,
job
can't
was
break the law.
It
RC
was a
Taylor,
Chinese broom.
pulling orders for candy stores, like
R.C. Taylor.
and the big boss man. Like this was, 99, back where, machismo shit, and this dude called
The good years.
me Big Daddy
Called you?
all the time. And I just felt some type of way. I'm like, dude, quit fucking calling me Big Daddy, bro.
A dude was calling you Big Daddy?
The big boss man.
And you didn't like it?
Dude, no, man. Fuck no. And then he would come over there and come behind you and like pat you on your shoulder. He's like, yeah, Big Daddy. Like it was real
What?
fucking awkward, man.
How much were
He
you
liked
getting?
you.
How much were you getting paid
That
first?
sounds like sexual harassment.
$5.75
It's
was.
only sexual harassment if you don't like the person.
So I really thought.
He didn't
No,
like
it's
it.
only sexual harassment if the man is ugly.
That's 100% true. That is true.
I really
agree
thought
with
he
her.
was fucking with me, like legit, but that was his personality. Because he was doing that to everybody. Like, everybody was Big Daddy. And
You were just taking it personal.
And I was just like,
He was just flirty. He's a flirty guy.
no.
I think you kind of had something for it.
I think that was his personality. I really do. And it fucking fucked with me mentally. And I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. Like, I just could not handle him. Big Daddy. What's up, Big Daddy? Hey, Big Daddy. Hey, Big. Every fucking day I was like, Big Daddy, like 100 times. And like, fuck no. I got to get the fuck out of here.
So you couldn't handle that, but you could handle your father calling you a pendejo every 5 seconds.
I sure could.
Did you ask him to stop? I'm curious.
No, because I took it for that's his personality. That's how he is. So I'm like, rather than me cause
But you
a
never
scene,
learned how to sit down with a man and be like, hey, what you're doing here is making me uncomfortable. Could you please stop?
I didn't care to do it. I'd rather just fucking change my fucking me bounce. Like,
I would have
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
no.
I would have been like, my shoulders hurt. we didn't get this. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
dude, as long as I didn't
Get a
have to
free
work.
back rub from a
Yeah,
man with
as long as I
strong
didn't have to
hands, you know?
I did meet some cool ass old people there though. There were some real old men that worked there, like in the cigar area. And this one dude was like wanted for check fraud for many years, and he was like, "Yeah, as long as I had a check, I had money."
Dude,
Yeah.
you know, my dad's brother-in-law passed away, right? Danny, about 4 or 5 months ago. And he was openly gay and stuff like that. And then the people were telling stories like how he was always flirting with all the guys and stuff. Dude, I felt some type of way. Dude, the dude never flirted with me.
Oh shit, he didn't
man.
like you.
Yeah, and I was sitting there and they were all telling the stories and they're like, well, you know what I mean, right? And I was like,
I'm not that cute.
no, I don't know what you mean. They all started laughing. I was like, for real? And they're like, yeah, man, that motherfucker never fucking said shit to me. And then I was like, I don't know, should I be offended or like, what's wrong with me? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
You weren't cute enough.
And then Amanda was like, nah, probably because he knew. I said, nah. Oh, the other dudes were good. I mean, she's like, are you really upset about
She's
that? I said,
comforting you.
yeah. She was like, are you really upset
She's
about
like,
it?
no, you're handsome.
You're okay, babe. It's all right. You just don't comb your hair right, you know. You don't dress well.
Well, on that note, man, thank you, Selena, for coming.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
I really enjoyed this. This was total different from I usually have just a whole male panel, and we talk about shit, all the literal shit all the time. So this was fun.
Still today,
This was still fun. Thank you for coming. You have any final thoughts, last words, or shout outs?
No, you can follow me on social media at Selena Whatever's on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And you can follow Gallapalooza. It's the all-girl touring group that I work with. And we've been to New Mexico, Oklahoma City. We're going to try to go to Colorado in the fall. I think we're also going to try to do Houston by the end of the year. We do San Antonio a bunch. You know, just follow us. We're somewhere.
So your upcoming shows is...
You said it's coming out at the end of the month?
Yeah, probably in like 3 weeks or 2 weeks.
So we might be having a show at the historic Baker Building on June 28th. And then after that, I think I'm in Empire Comedy Festival in San Antonio, July 11th and 12th. And then I think I'm also supposed to do the El Paso Comedy Festival, Chugo Comedy Festival, the week after that.
Okay. Fuck yeah. Thank you for coming once again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Also follow Laugh Up City on social media.
Yes. Shout out Mr. Iz once again. He put you on to me, and I'm all for it. Thank you, Mr. Iz. Love that fucking dude, man. He's awesome. Thank you. He's worked his magic with this show like you would not believe. And Miss Erika Starr, you got any final words?
No.
Thank you.
It was great. I always enjoy being here and getting to talk to different people, all the different walks of life. And it was really fun meeting you, and it's nice getting to hear your stand-up. JP was telling me about it, and yeah, I'm going to have to follow. Sounds like a good time.
A good old time. Mm-hmm. Any final thoughts?
No.
You don't have one more shit story you want to tell?
I was trying to think of one, but I was like, nah, that's enough. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings.
Maybe got to save some for next time.
Next time, you know what I mean? You can't use them all at one time.
You only have 4 good shit stories. You got to space them out, you know.
Shout out fucking Jimenez and Friends. Shout out Bubba and Bree. Shout out Cuevas Drive-In. Those 3 people fuck with me heavily. They're not sponsors of the show, but they're family, and shout them out. But shout out my sponsors, Tigre Burrito. If you hadn't tried Tigre Burrito, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. Hit up Tigre Burrito. Patriot Paint and Construction. KJ Aesthetics. If you tell her I sent you, you'll get 15% off on your eyelashes. And RL Creations. Hit her up for all your shirts and whatever creativity you've got for your sweaters or shirts coming up. She'll make your ideas come to life. And thank you guys. Excuse me. Thank you guys for really coming through for me, man. You guys don't know what you do when you send your feedback for the show, and I have no idea who you are, and you message me and say just kind words for the show. It means the fucking world to me. I put so much time and effort into this show, and it really warms my heart to give me just an idea that motherfuckers are listening to us and they give a shit about what we got to say, and it warms my heart to receive each and every one of those messages, man. So I'm encouraging you to continue to do that, because like I said, I put a lot of time and effort in this show. But until next time, guys, read some books.